Welcome to Pimpy's Investment Chat, where we keep investment talk simple. And here's your host, Pimpy.
What is going on out there, peeps? Already, here we go again. It did not take long. It really didn't. I thought it would take a little longer than this, but already people are jumping on the crypto bandwagon. What did I say about that? Oh! Cryptos are the same as our paper money. It's fiat. It's backed by nothing whatsoever. If people losing hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands, and in Michael Saylor's case, $1 billion isn't a warning enough that you got to be careful with cryptocurrencies, I don't know what is. I'm sure Michael Saylor is praying to God that Bitcoin continues to go up. And so is the president of El Salvador. I told you when they were hyping up cryptocurrencies, it's funny how they're showing you all these companies, all these CEOs pumping millions of dollars into Bitcoin. I said they'll show you when they buy it, but they never show you when they dump it. And sure enough, word got out that Elon Musk had dropped Bitcoin only a couple months after he purchased it. Yeah, they were quick to tell you when he bought the cryptocurrency, but I found it in some obscure article that just mentioned that, by the way, Elon Musk dropped all of his Bitcoin. Crazy. That's because it's all part of the hype machine. They're not going to tell you the truth that sure, these people are buying into crypto. Sure, they're buying into Bitcoin. And they're all part of the pump and dump. They tell you when they buy it, but they never tell you when they sell it. So crypto has been on a little bit of a run, but so has gold. Something big has been happening with Russia and China, and people are missing this. For those of you who had listened to my suggestion that you buy gold and silver, congratulations. You should be jumping around by now. But what's coming to 2023 is big. And you better hope and pray that you got gold and silver for reals, because you need something outside of the system, and you're going to see why. Before we get started, do me a favor and hit the thumbs up button. And if you're not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do, it helps out the channel, and I certainly do appreciate it. If you're thinking about buying gold and silver, head on over to our friends at Money Metals Exchange. The link will be down below in the description. If you are a first-time buyer and you spend more than $100, use promo code PIMPYSILVER. Yes, it has changed. PIMPYSILVER. So if you're watching this video and it's an older video, make sure you check on current videos, because the code is going to be changing from time to time from now on. Also, I can be found on other platforms. Everybody knows I have my own website, Pimpy's News Network. Over here, I post videos that I can't get away with over on YouTube. Also, I have a group on Facebook called Pimpy's Investment Chat. Over here, we do talk about gold, silver, cryptocurrencies, as well as foreign currency investments. Come on over here and join us. It's free to do so. You can also come follow me on Twitter, MeWe, YouTube, and Odyssey. The links for all these platforms will be down below in the description. So for whatever reason, if I get removed off of one platform, you could find me on the others. For those of you looking for my address, there it is right here. Go ahead and pause the video and write it down and reach on out to me. So here's what's going on. I've let people know that I've collected sports cards for decades. I really got into them in the mid-'80s. And collected all the way to the end of the 90s. I did pick up other packs throughout the years, but not like I used to do it. Over the last couple years, I did get a little crazy again with sports cards just for a brief moment, but stopped. So I have a plethora of sports cards, like you wouldn't believe. I have over 400 Michael Jordan cards stemming from 1988 on. If any of you out there are into collecting sports cards or memorabilia, because I have 2 Michael Jordan autographed jerseys. I have a Mickey Mantle autographed jersey. I have a Mickey Mantle Joe DiMaggio autographed baseballs. I have, oh good Lord, probably about 60 autographed Michael Jordan cards. So if you're into that type of stuff, I'm looking to sell all my cards. And the reason for that is I'm going to invest more into gold and silver. So if you're a person who's big time into Cards, just so you are aware, ever since I was a kid, when it came to collecting, not just sports memorabilia, but comic books. And yeah, I had a ton of comic books going back into the late 60s through the 70s and 80s and 90s. But it's too late. My nephew is a huge collector. And I had first Wonder Woman, first Mutant Turtles. I had the first Spawn. I had the first Wolverine, you name it. I had a ton of them. And I sold them to my nephew for a really good deal because I know he'll take care of them. I had the Crisis books. I had them all. I do have a handful of comic books left over. That's because I know it's coming up in the Marvel Universe. So we're talking about Siri. I knew that she was going to be next as far as the Black Panther was concerned. I have the Hulk Wars, you name it. I got all these that are sitting there. And these are all going up in value because of the Marvel Universe. So thank you, Marvel, for making movies. Anyways, yeah, if you're into collecting sports memorabilia, I have autographed baseballs, have autographed jerseys. I have autographed bats. I'm just looking to get rid of them, but I want somebody to make me a fair offer. You know, like I have a 1988, for some reason it's worth a lot more than the year before, but it's in a phenomenal shape. It's you know, my judgment is it's a 10. It's because when it comes to my sports cards, you got to understand how picky I am about protecting them. I kept them all in sleeves. I kept them all in slabs. You know, and almost all of them. And I included common cards that look like 10s because over time, even common cards start to become valuable. Go look at the 1987 Flair basketball. Go look at Johnny Moore's card, how much it's worth. And everybody's like, who the hell's Johnny Moore? The point is, he doesn't have very many cards that have a score of 10. And I have like 5 of his cards with perfect borders. So very hard to find. Anyways, sorry to get sidetracked there, but I'm going to say that in a couple of videos to let people know that I'm getting ready to off my collection. I have a couple of graded cards, but for the most part, they're all raw. Lots of autograph cards as well. But I'm not going to give them up for cheap. I don't mind giving somebody a hell of a deal if they want to pick them all up at one time. But the truth of the matter is, I'm really picky when it comes to my sports cards. I mean, extremely. And so for those of you who are interested in sports cards, sports memorabilia, please reach out to me and we'll set something up if you want to see the cards or if you're looking for something specific, let me know. All right. Right, here we go. What's going on with cryptos? Right now, they're still in the green. Look at this. Bitcoin above 17,000. It says $17,232.71. Ethereum's at $1,310.71. What's that saying? High tide lifts all ships. And so even though I'm warning you about cryptocurrencies because everybody's once again going crazy, and I understand and it's exciting, but just be careful is my warning. Okay. And I understand if you're trying to catch at the very beginning a huge upswing with cryptocurrencies, I get that, but just make sure you pay attention to what's going on with your crypto and you know when to get out. In other words, if I put $10,000 in there and all of a sudden all my cryptos are up to 20,000, take your 10,000 back out. That means you're playing with house money the rest of the time. You can leave them in there to see how far it goes up, or you can pull it out, pull some of the profits out every now and then, which is what I recommend you do so that you don't get burnt again, okay? So for those of you looking for cryptocurrencies, I do have links down below for Coinbase as well as Kucoin. So some of these you can buy on Coinbase, and some of them you could buy on Kucoin. It just depends on what crypto we're talking about. So for those of you who insist on having cryptocurrencies because you see what's going on and you want to try to jump in there and get your feet wet for just a short period of time and then pull out, the problem is it's like gambling. Once you're on a winning streak, it's really hard to pull away. If I go in with $100 and all of a sudden I get to $200, that's my goal. Usually I get out. But if I feel like I'm on the road, then I get to $300, then I get to $400, I'm like, yes. Then it never fails. Once you start losing the money, you're like, it'll come back around. Next thing you know, you lost it all of it. And that's not what you want. So if that's the case and you're really on a roll and you double your money, take out your original money you're playing with. This way you've lost nothing if you lose the rest. But if you get up to $300, take out your initial $100 that you invested into the gambling and then another $100. So this way you came away with something. And the rest of the stuff you can get buck crazy with. Just be smart and pull out your profits. Again, down below are links to Kucoin as well as Coinbase for those who are interested in trying to catch this upswing. Look how green everything is. How long is this going for? I don't know. Remember, I said to keep an eye for consistency. And they've been consistently going up little by little over the last few days. Just don't go out and mortgage your house trying to jump on this bandwagon, okay? Look, if you got some discretionary funds, go ahead and do this. But cryptocurrencies are only a digital version of the fiat dollar, which means it's backed by nothing. XRP's at 35 cents. Congratulations. Cardano's at 33 cents. Dogecoin's at 7 cents. Polygon at 86 cents. Solana at $16.39. I know Lisa's happy about this. Litecoin is above $80. Sitting at $81.98. About to get to 92. Is it going to happen while I'm sitting here talking to you? I don't know. Polkadot's at $4.93. Shiba trying to delete one of those zeros. It's going up, but very, very slowly. Shiba still at 5089. So if I scroll up, you can see right here, all of the cryptos are in the green. Cardano's up 20%. Solana's up 23%. Why is that a big deal? Because those are those new world order coins that are helping with the digital currency. And I know everybody's like, up to the moon. Yeah, okay, whatever. But yeah, cryptos are running right now, and I do have some. I'm not lying. You guys know this. I took a chance on some really cheap ones. Shiba was one of them. Saitama was another one. And Luna Classic was the other. Because my thought was, hey, when it comes to Luna Classic, at one time, these used to sell for like $119 per crypto. I bought mine for less than a penny. I bought $50 worth. They're less than a penny. So, I ended up like 600,000, I think it is, Luna Classic coins. And I said, what the heck? You never know. So I just left them there. Speaking of, I remember that Luna Classic had added a zero at one time. They were at 409. Now look, not only did they delete the zero, but they're at 3016. So they are going up again. And of course, I'm excited about watching this one. Does it have the potential, or will it get back up to where it was at $119? I don't know. But look at there, 302. I don't know if it will or won't, but I'd be happy if they even got up as much as a penny, 10 cents. You see where I'm going with this? If they could get to $1, I'm happy. To get to $10, I'm ecstatic. To reach back up to 100, party on, Pimpy. See you in Vegas. All right? So, Terra Classics at 302 and climbing. I told you, high tide lifts all ships. Saitama has been slowly but surely creeping up still. They're at 2010. If we look at the last 7 days, it started to run and then there was a drop again. And it does this. It drives me crazy. This up and down pattern. They're huge volatility swings. I mean, don't get me wrong. They're not by much. It's by 0.002, which is nothing. But when it comes to Saitama, I mean, like I have a plethora of those, something like 35 million to be honest, 35 million of them. So, of course, to get to 1 cent, 10 cent, then I'm ecstatic. My intentions are to keep an eye on them. Once they get up to a certain level, I'm dumping them. I'm going right into gold and silver. That's been my plan all along. Saitama at 20107 and climbing. All right, here we go. Silver got back up to $24. Thank goodness. There's something about gold and silver you guys are going to learn here in just a moment. Looky here. This has been since the middle of October. Remember I spoke about this? Look at that nice healthy climb. It looks like from $18 on up to $24. That's a $6 increase in value since the middle of October. We're not even to the middle of January yet. Hasn't even been 90 days and already. Precious metals are taking off just like I knew they would eventually. I was hoping they would do it sooner, but I'll take it now. Well, there's a huge part of me that wants it to stay low because I want to continue stacking. That happens all the time. I'm excited about the rise in value, but at the same time frowning because, I want to buy more. I'm greedy when it comes to precious metals. So for those of you who bought all those silvers and gold and you were panicking a little bit when the value went down, what did I say? Gold and silver always rebound. They always will. So again, silver at $24 an ounce, and that is the paper version. Man, gold is going crazy. You guys got to understand what's going on with gold. I'm going to show you here in just a moment. If you don't have gold, find a way to get it. Remember, you don't have to have the $2,000 an ounce or whatever it is with the premiums to have gold. You could buy fractionals. So since the middle of October, the same thing with, well, technically if we go from here, So around November the 3rd, gold was around $1,600. Remember that? It's at $1,618. Now look at this. It's at $1,876, and it's going to continue to climb. Gold is going to run here pretty soon. 2023 is going to be bad, you guys. I'm talking really bad. This is the push by the New World Order that World Economic Forums, they're panicking because you have governments that are being tossed right now by citizens, and they're going after all those individuals who are part of the WEF. But look at that rise. We're talking about $200 rise in value since November. Just a little over 2 months, and it's up $200 an ounce. You're welcome. Gold at $1,876.90. When I say we're looking for consistency, this is what I'm talking about. Sure, it goes up and down, but it's still climbing. That's the kind of consistency you want to see. It's one thing if it has a little bit of a dip, but you want it to keep moving gradually in the direction you want it to go into, which is up. This is Redacted. Love the show. They cover a lot of different topics. But this one right here, you guys got to pay attention to. Look what it says. It begins. This is how Putin and China's new world order unfolds in 2023. Remember, there was talk about there being two different types of new world orders. You have the world economic versions, the Great Reset, but also China and Russia are doing a version of the new world order. But I like to think of what they're doing as more of the old world order, going back to the gold standard. They plan to make a move. 2023 is going to be the death of the dollar. We've been saying this for the longest time, and they've been artificially pumping it up. Now you have individuals that are getting ready to finish their assignment with the Federal Reserve. Yeah, chairman, they know what's the truth. They know what's going on. Coming out and telling people, yeah, well, the dollar's dead. 2023, you're going to see the dollar die. The reserve status is going to be lost. And because of that, it's going to lose a huge chunk of its purchasing power. That means all of us suffer. That is, all of us without gold and silver. Those with gold and silver, you never lose your purchasing power. Let's get into this video from Redacted. I will leave a link for the full video down below, but we're going to listen to some chunks of it so you can hear what's going on.
So the stocks that everybody owns are going down, and the stocks that nobody owns except a few people are going way up, and they're going up in relative obscurity.
The moves that Chinese President Xi Jinping and Russian President Vladimir Putin are making, which are completely going to alter the international power structure and the monetary system, and the mainstream media is largely ignoring it.
Oh yeah, they're ignoring it. Remember, the media is a propaganda arm of the Democrats. As long as the Democrats are in the White House and in control of the Senate, you know, they're not going to do anything to make Biden look bad. They want to keep Biden the puppet in the White House. So the government's going to do everything it can to prop up this false economy, and the media is going to do everything they can to protect their asses. Just keep that in mind. But eventually you can only hold it up for so long, and then it's going to all come collapsing down. This is why the media is not talking about it, because everybody would rush over to gold and silver. Again, I can't stress this enough. If you have an IRA, a 401k, or some kind of savings, if you're leaving your money there just as fiat dollars in your bank account, man, you're getting annihilated. The inflation is twice as much as they're reporting it, which means even just sitting there in your savings, you're losing money. Losing it. Gold and silver is where it is. It's never going to lose its purchasing power. It's been around for 6,000 years. Let me once again make this suggestion to you if you haven't done it yet. My suggestion would be that you move 25-30% of your retirement nest eggs or savings into gold and silver. Now, I keep saying money metals because I specifically chose them. I shopped around. I spoke to several gold and silver dealers, and I chose them because they're a family-ran business. They're here in the United States. They're a Christian family. I specifically chose them because of this. Not only that, the CEO has been actively involved with legislation regarding gold and silver. That's what you want, somebody in there fighting for you. Stephen Gleason is an awesome man. He works closely with a lot of senators like Mooney to do what they can to protect gold and silver for the citizens. So if you haven't made that switch yet, I recommend that you do that. And when you do, of course, I'm going to always encourage you to go over to Money Metals. The link's down below in the description for Money Metals. If not, just Google Money Metals Exchange. You'll find them. If you're a first-time buyer and you spend more than $100, use promo code Pimpy Silver, and they will send you an additional half ounce of silver with your order for free.
But very smart people are paying attention. Very smart multi-million-dollar investors that I've been speaking with know exactly what's coming.
I'm not a multimillionaire, and I know what's going on.
I think 2023 could end up being one of the weakest years ever for the U.S. dollar.
The new monetary world order under Russian President Putin and Chinese President Xi Jinping. It's unfolding exactly as we're predicting over the past year.
Why do you think the United States and this whole Ukraine war thing is going on? They want regime change in Russia. They don't want them guys destroying the U.S. dollar. And they're going to do it. China and Russia together. Now they're working with Saudi Arabia and India. If they all jump aboard, what the hell is the United States going to do? They want to continue to be the reserve currency, and it's not going to happen, you guys. It's not going to happen. So if that's the case, and once they get booted away as a reserve currency, I warned you guys like about a year ago about this, and it's taking this sweet-ass time to play out, but it's going to happen. They're going to lose 30, 40, 50% of its purchasing power. Other currencies will go up against the U.S. dollar, such as the Iraqi dinar, the Vietnam dong, but you definitely want gold and silver. I can't stress that enough.
And we knew that this was coming. And Putin knew that this was coming. You have warmongers Condoleezza Rice and Robert Gates, just published a brand new article in the Washington Post calling for all-out war against Russia.
Regime change. They don't want to lose their status as a reserve dollar, and they're going to go after Russia first. I've been speaking about this now for quite some time. Whenever anybody threatens the U.S. dollar status as a reserve currency, such as Gaddafi, Saddam Hussein, when they wanted to go to a gold-backed dinar to do oil transactions instead of the U.S. dollar, look what happened. Now they're going after Putin.
I love that the Washington Post just gives them a platform to spew this agenda, but it comes directly from the intelligence state. Then the Washington Post publishes it, and this, of course, is the new marching orders for the neoconservatives in Washington. And Democrats, they're all on board with this. The article is called "Time is Not on Ukraine's Side," and it's a direct call to action to send a massive buildup of weapons and forces to fight Russia. Now, remember, Condoleezza Rice is a war criminal whose illegal war in Iraq led to the deaths of millions of people. That's on her resume. And then she's been calling for a war with Russia for over a decade now. Here she is 8 years ago laying out how Russia is trying to change the unipolar order.
And when great powers start behaving badly, it gets really dangerous. We have now, I think, a very dangerous, perfect storm between a leader who is unreconciled to the post-war, post-Cold War order in Europe, willing to use a combination of economic pressure, military force, intimidation, and surrogates to get his way to try to undo that order.
So Condoleezza Rice has been pushing for a confrontation with Putin for...
Can you trust anything Condoleezza Rice says? She was under the Bush administration. The second Bush. You know, the people claiming that we have to go in there and remove Saddam Hussein because of weapons of mass destruction?
Those weapons of mass destruction got to be somewhere. I am saying, Dick, if the Hunan Palace doesn't get lunch here in 4 minutes, we're going out. Nope, no weapons over there. Maybe under here.
Yeah, we went to war over our intelligence agencies telling us there was WMDs, allegedly. And now they joke about it. And now they're telling us the same thing about Russia. They were wrong about Gaddafi. They were wrong about Saddam Hussein. Do you think, and what do you think the odds are of them being accurate about Russia?
We now have a new bloodthirsty Congress with a new Speaker of the House last night, Kevin McCarthy, the guy who literally wears a Ukrainian flag pin and had dinner with Klaus Schwab and promised to fund an endless war in Ukraine last week.
Two sides of the same evil coin. This is what I posted on Twitter. I don't want Kevin McCarthy to be the Speaker because he is supported by the World Economic Forum. They have an agenda. They want a one world order, and they'll do whatever it takes. And those leaders who do not fall in line will be removed from office.
So if you don't think for a second that crap is about to hit the fan, then you are not paying attention. Stuff's about to get serious. Even deeper in this Washington Post piece is the very important paragraph about minerals and precious metals that I want to call your attention to. So
Did he say precious metals?
Meanwhile, although Ukraine's response to the invasion has been heroic and its military has performed brilliantly, the country's economy is in shambles, millions of its people have fled, its infrastructure is being destroyed, and much of its mineral wealth, industrial capacity, and considerable agriculture land are under Russia's control. Forget the agriculture piece of this. It's the mineral wealth. It might be the most important part of this entire article. She sneaks it in quickly. Lithium, gold, iron ore, uranium, all under Putin's control. That's what this is all about.
So if the United States can't get their gold and silver from other countries, then they're going to have to turn to another group of people. Those of us who are stackers. And they're going to have to pay us a price if they want our precious metals.
The United States doesn't have the mineral resources to compete any longer, and the only way to compete globally is to go to war with Russia over these resources in eastern Ukraine. The United States has 0 lithium mines in the United States, no uranium drilling in the United States for nuclear, nothing. The other piece of this is China. So you think China is going to stand by and allow the United States to grab all of these minerals? No, they're not. They're making deals right now as we speak with Russia for these minerals. In fact, China is already doing 3 things. A massive increase in military spending, a massive increase in gold buying, and a massive deal that they just struck with the Saudis after Joe Biden failed to do so. Biden's trip to Saudi Arabia was mocked as a joke. Xi Jinping's visit was praised as a milestone, a total FU to the United States. So late last year, we noticed that there was a massive mystery buyer of gold and other precious metals. Who was buying up all of the world's gold? Well, we found out just a few days ago who it was. It was, in fact, China. The mystery buyer we now know was China.
China, do as they do. If we're being told that cryptocurrencies are the way of the future, central bank digital currencies are the way of the future, then why are so many central banks around the world buying up gold? It's called the central bank digital currency. If they have so much faith in their digital currency, then why are they smashing records around the world with purchase of gold? They have no intentions on staying in there. When in doubt, resort back to what we've learned over 6,000 years. Precious metals, precious metals, precious metals. Why is Russia, China, India buying up records amount of gold and silver? They plan on de-dollarizing. They know the value of the dollar is going to drop ridiculously. There's going to be no value to it. But gold and silver, whew, that's going to take off.
Had bought some 300 tons of gold, roughly 3/4 of what would be a record 399 tons of central bank gold purchases in the third quarter.
Wow.
Here's the stunning...
You said third quarter. Only in 1 quarter they bought that much.
So that's just China. What about Russia?
I don't know how to stress this enough to you guys. I get it if you want to jump on cryptocurrencies, ride that bad boy. Get a few dollars, but then turn around and put it right back into gold and silver. Look at this. There is something going on with precious metals. Whether it's the Green New Deal and they need silver. All of our modern day technology needs silver and gold. Central banks around the world are buying up gold like there's no tomorrow. Our comics as well as our LBMAs are being depleted of both gold and silver. Record amounts of precious metals are being bought. We know a couple months ago, we had a individual come in and buy $100 million worth of precious metals, 50 million in gold, 50 million in silver. Remember, we spoke about that. And she said there was more to come. So now you're going to have millionaires and billionaires and central banks now all competing to own the precious metals. Every year, you're seeing record amounts of precious metals being bought. It smashes the year before and the year before. It just keeps growing and growing. There's only so much of it out there available. If you don't buy now, you're going to be ass out.
Stockpiling gold. Look at Russia's reserves of gold. Why? Why are both China and Russia stockpiling precious metals?
Well, that's a good question there, Steve. What do you suppose the answer is? Actually, I don't know if his name's Steve. I'm just kidding.
Well, Nikkei analysts have an answer. China and other countries are hurrying to reduce dependence on the U.S. dollar.
Pay attention.
Now, this is just one of the reasons gold prices hit a 6-month high this past week. The U.S. dollar is in trouble as a reserve currency of the world. And then on top of all of this, we had another bomb go off over the last few days. This bomb was big, and it went viral in the financial world. The head of the Kansas Federal Reserve, Esther George, set off this bomb. Now, let me give you some context about Esther here and tell you what she said. Esther George is a highly respected member of the Fed, Fed president. She's been on this job for a long time now, I think 40 years, and she's retiring. She is wrapping up her tenure. So she doesn't give a rat's...
Her tenure or her 40-year. So he's going to make the point that she don't give a rat's ass now about her getting in trouble for what she says. She's done. There's no reason to worry about her job. It's over. So now you're going to get the truth from her. And I want you to listen, because this is why you should rush into gold and silver.
Behind about what politicians think of her. She's gone. She's not looking for another job. Okay. She's out the door very soon. So she's speaking the truth. I love when people like this aren't afraid anymore. They're unfettered, because that's when the good stuff comes out. So more context here. The Kansas Fed is the Center for Research, meaning this is the Fed that we go to see what the real numbers are showing us. They have these numbers. They do the heavy lifting. So Esther George was interviewed on CNBC, and here is the bomb that she dropped.
We understand that high inflation is going to require our action. So we have been moving our forecast up to higher levels. You saw that in the most recent dot plot that came out in December. And I think holding that until we get confidence that inflation is actually coming down is really the message we're trying to put out there.
I don't really have to ask you this question because I've got a 17 out of 19 chance of being right. You're over 5% when it comes to your outlook for the funds rate in 2020.
I have raised my forecast over 5%.
Could you tell us where you are? I don't remember if you're one of the folks that tells us that.
Well, I think I'll be over 5%, and I see staying there for some time.
Is that well into 2024?
It is for me.
Wow.
Wow. Did you catch that? So let me paraphrase. The experiment is over, basically. It failed. Low interest rates, kept artificially low by the Fed, was a failure.
And that's how they were propping up the economy, was these low interest rates. But now what's sitting on the books of central banks around the world is a crap load of debt. And so now they're raising interest rates after interest rates after interest rates, trying to remove as much of the debt as possible. They are bankrupt. They have been bankrupt. Our Federal Reserve is literally bankrupt times 9. They don't have the money. The only reason why people don't recognize that they're bankrupt is because they have the ability to just print money. And if they could just print money at will, all willy-nilly, then what value is the dollar really? It doesn't have any value. It's not backed by any precious metals or any assets. It's backed by the good faith and promise of your government. Yeah, your government. You know, the very people we trust.
And inflation is going to stay high for the foreseeable future, well into 2024 and beyond. And she thinks the Fed needs to raise interest rates, keep them over 5% interest rates. Party time is over. No more cheap money. No more 0% loans, no more cheap mortgages, no more cheap car loans. She thinks that this is the best and only way to fix the problem. Keep interest rates high. Stop printing fake money and giving out money to Wall Street with 0% interest. And if that's not enough of a kick in the nuts, yesterday, former Obama Treasury Secretary Larry Summers says that we need to start laying people off, firing people.
I said this was coming.
Order to deal with this inflation problem. That's the only way to do it. All of this fake money.
For those of you who are unaware, there's actually currency that's gold backed. And when I say gold backed, I don't mean like there's some gold over to the side and it supports the paper currency. No, I'm talking about actual currency made of gold. These bills are literally made of 24 karat gold. And you could buy these over there at Money Metals. and they're being accepted as actual currency now in different cities. And I can't recommend this enough. This is one of the things I've been doing, is trying to encourage people to go out there and start talking locally to your community and how important it is to start getting away from the fiat dollar and to avoid the central bank digital currency by having your own currency made by gold.
From his beach resort with palm trees in the background. Watch.
They explicitly recognize that there's going to need to be increases in unemployment to contain inflation.
So he's at a beach resort telling you that you need to get ready for layoffs. You're going to lose your job because all of this fake printing of money wasn't backed by gold, wasn't backed by anything. Wall Street got incredibly wealthy. Average people get screwed. Inflation is high and is going to stay high for the foreseeable future. And
congratulations to Nancy Pelosi. Talk about insider trader information. Her family's entire wealth doubled, along with all of those companies that she was invested in. Every single one of them doubled. Talk about insider information violation. You know, Martha Stewart went to jail for the very thing that Nancy Pelosi's doing. She's not the only person. You have Republicans and Democrats out there screwing over the American people for their own personal gain, and their Constitution tells us what we're supposed to do when that happens. We are to get rid of the current government and replace it with a new government. That's up to you guys. But for now, I will say this. If you've not bought gold and silver, you're just going to be kicking yourself, what did he say, in the nuts? Do it now before it's too late. Head on over to our friends at Money Metals. 1-800-800-1865. See right here, 1-800-800-1865. Tell them Pimpy sent you. All right? They will help you out. Or you can go to this website. Again, the link is down below. If you go to this drop-down tab right here where it says Other, go all the way over here where it says Retirement Accounts and click it. And you can see right here where it talks about self-directed IRAs. This is ways you can move your money from your IRAs, your 401ks, into a special holding without getting penalized for your transfer into gold and silver. It can be done. You can go to the link that I have down below. Come right here and read what you need to do, or reach out to them. 800-800-1865. Tell them Pimpy sent you, and they will hand walk you through what you need to do. Anyways, that's it for now. Please do me a favor, share this video, like the video. And when you like the video, it helps out my channel big time because it allows YouTube to put me out front so people can go ahead and see this video, and it helps me to get more subscribers. For those of you who are not subscribers, please do so, because when you do, it does help out the channel. And I do certainly appreciate it. That's it for now. I'm out.